Hi, my name's Parker. Today we're going to talk about communication, one of the building blocks of society today as we know it. It's what separates animals from humans and has been around for well over 100 years. I've put together the principles of successful communication in a course called Parker's 12 Pillars of Successful Communication. After watching this video, you will know how to communicate more effectively and be a better participant in society. Let's begin. Pillar number 1, listen. The first and most important step in effective communication is listening. Listening is a key aspect for all modes of communication. A good tip for listening is imagining you're talking to yourself. People often value their own ideas over the values of others. So by imagining you're talking to yourself, you'll be able to retain and comprehend what they say a lot better. Pillar number 2, think. The next pillar of effective communication is thinking. Not only do you have to think about what the other person is saying, you also have to think about what you're going to say. Otherwise, the conversation is going to be gibberish. Pillar number 3, body language. Body language. Communication is not just about talking. It's also about how we look. Different ways we can move our bodies mean certain things, depending on the context. A good rule of thumb for body language is this. When you are listening, slowly nod your head throughout the duration of the listening period. When you are speaking, make sure you are standing up straight, slightly leaning towards the person you are speaking to. Use a variety of hand gestures to reinforce your point. Pillar number 4, check for understanding. That brings us to our fourth pillar, check understanding. Most examples of effective communication will always involve at least one check for understanding. Checking for understanding is a great way to show that you're on the same page and actively thinking and listening. Let's take a look. Jim says, "All of this thinking makes my brain hurt." Bob says, "Hey Jim, do you mean the brain inside of your head?" Yes. Pillar number 5, make sure others listen. The next pillar, make sure others listen. Imagine the previous pillar in reverse. Sometimes people have a hard time listening, so you need to make sure that they're understanding what you are saying. A good tip is every few sentences, throw in a, "What did I just say?" And that'll force them to listen. Pillar number 6, talk. Number 6, talking. Now this one's self-explanatory. The vast majority of conversations and communications require the exchange of verbal words. There may be an exception though. If you're well familiar with the person you're communicating with, you may already have a system of nonverbal communication, in which case that's fine to use. Pillar number 7, eye contact. Pillar number 7, eye contact. Now this is an easy one. If you're talking, just stare directly into the other person's eyes. If you are listening, stare back and occasionally look up to make it look like you're thinking. Pillar number 8, leave your emotions at home. Pillar number 8, leave your emotions at home. All great communication is emotion-free. Just look at the internet. Millions and millions of computers all talking with each other. And why does it work so well? Because computers don't have emotion. Pillar number 9, give feedback. Pillar number 8, give feedback. Be opinionated, but be honest. Every great system has feedback built into it, so why wouldn't communication? This can apply to both the speaker and the listener. Here's an example. As a listener, you might say, "Thanks, that's a really good idea. Or, thanks, but that's a terrible suggestion. As a speaker, you might say, what do you think of that? Or, I think what I just said would be helpful to you because... Pillar number 10, laughter. Pillar number 10, laughter. Every great communicationalist will tell you that laughter is a necessary part of communication. That doesn't mean you have to laugh at everything the other person says, but throwing in a hearty chuckle now and then will make sure the conversation is hostility-free. Comment number 1. Try not to laugh at the misfortune of others. Comment number 2. Emotional laughter is not the same as communicational laughter. You can laugh in a conversation, but that doesn't mean it has any emotional background. This way, you won't violate pillar number 8. Pillar number 11. Teach the pillars. Pillar number 11. Teach the pillars. Share the wisdom of Parker's 12 pillars of effective communication. If somebody is communicating ineffectively, help them out. They probably need it. For example, if somebody starts crying while you are trying to communicate with them, tell them that you cannot communicate with someone who is crying, because they are ignoring many of the previous pillars that we've discussed. Pillar number 12, ditch. Pillar number 12, ditch. Now there's a reason this is the last pillar, and that's because it should only be used as a last resort if trying out pillar number 11 doesn't work. You should never be in an unhealthy conversation. So if any part of your communication is unhealthy and teaching the pillars doesn't work, then you're free to ditch. Thank you for watching this video, and congratulations on taking the first step at being a more effective communicator.